I feel like I've been talking about Moonlight Peaks for years, and technically I have. This game has been in development for a long time, but finally its launch is just around the corner. After playing the demos, watching every trailer, and endlessly stalking the game's social media channels, I think it's finally time to go through everything you need to know before this slightly spooky farming sim launches. From the gameplay and the characters to the unique features that help set this one apart from other cozy farming sims, here's everything you need to know to help you decide whether Moonlight Peaks is a game for you. So what better way to start than actually what is this game? Well, at its heart, Moonlight Peaks is a farming and life simulation, but it has a delightfully dark twist. Rather than stepping into the boots of a typical farmer, you play as a young vampire, and the world is filled with supernatural charm. From the get-go, it's quite important to know that this game takes place at night, so instead of the bright, colourful landscapes commonly found in farming sims, you'll actually rise from your coffin each evening to explore a town bathed in purple hues, creating a cozy yet gothic atmosphere. The story follows a young vampire who has run away from their father, who of course is Dracula, determined to follow their own path and set out to prove that vampires don't have to embrace a life of fear and darkness, and that there is a more peaceful existence possible. As you progress through the story, you'll meet a cast of memorable characters who are descendants of 7 different families that reside in the area. Many of these will have their own magical abilities and personalities. Along the way, you'll be able to build friendships, discover mysteries, and if you choose, even pursue a romantic interest. The gameplay offers plenty of familiar cozy activities, including fishing and farming, although all of the features here do have their own magical twist that feature the supernatural setting. Alongside these staples, there are also some more unique mechanics such as spellcasting, transforming into a bat, and my personal favourite, floristry. Having played several demos and followed the game's development closely, I think Moonlight Peaks so far appears to have done a good job blending that farming sim formula we all love with fresh ideas and strong theming to help it sound out. So that's a brief overview of what you can expect of Moonlight Peaks, but before we get into the deeper dive of the game, you might be wondering if you can actually play it. Well, the game is going to launch on Steam for Windows and Mac. It's also Steam Deck verified, making it a great option if you do prefer to play it or handout on that platform. It is also arriving on both the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Switch 2, so there is a couple different ways you can enjoy this supernatural world. If you're someone who likes adding physical copies to your collection, there is good news too. A physical Nintendo Switch edition will be released across Europe on the 28th of August. As a nice bonus, anyone purchasing the physical edition will receive an exclusive sticker sheet along with a digital copy of the game's soundtrack. It does just mean you have a bit longer to wait to enjoy that. The base price for the Steam, Switch 1 and Google Play version will be $34.99 in US dollars and euros. If you're in the UK, that will be $29.99. There is also a Switch 2 version for this, which is £5 more, and if you decide you're not sure whether you want to buy that yet, you can also upgrade later for the same price difference. If you are planning to pick up the game digitally at launch, there is also going to be a 15% launch discount, which is going to be available during the game's first week on sale. So that's your release info. Let's get into where you will first start when you open the game. And as with most farm and life sims, that is obviously going to be character customization. The character customization here isn't the most in-depth I have ever seen, but don't worry, there are still good options. From the get-go, you will notice that the character bodies are gender neutral, and this was an intentional decision made by the development team. The characters themselves are kind of a little bit chibi looking, and I quite like that personally, as it softens the spookier feel to the game. Throughout, there is a colour palette to pick from, and there are generally good options here, particularly when it comes to skin colours, and you'll find a good variety between the natural skin tones and the more mythical ones if you want to go down that route. I also think they've done a relatively good job with the representation of the different types of hair, and there are lots of options here. Another feature I appreciate is the ability to change your eye colours, so you don't have to have them matching if you don't want to. This isn't kind of a review of the character customization, but I will say despite there being a number of clothing options, I did get a little stuck here as you don't have a lot of control over the different colors within the outfit selection for the demo. That being said, I still kind of had difficulty picking which outfit to choose because they were so cute, and there was definitely kind of witchy vampire vibes that you could choose from, so that's good. Overall, the character customization is definitely gonna take you a few minutes to decide. Once you've finally decided what your character is going to look like, you can then start getting into the gameplay, and you will find early on that the majority of your gameplay, aside from focusing on the story and the quest, will revolve around your farm. Players receive all of the standard tools as you would expect in farming sims, and in the demo we did obtain all of these pretty quickly. This may be different in the full game because I will be honest, it felt a little bit rushed in the demo. The basic mechanics in this game did kind of feel pretty universal to what I have expected from different games in the past, but the crops in the game do have the magical twist to them. Some might even say cursed. There is quite a few crops with blood in their name. You will find that there is a seasonal crop rotation, which will dictate when you can plant certain crops. However, we have seen a sneak peek of a greenhouse building, which will allow you to grow crops all year round. If you want to, you could sell your crops as they are, but to really reap the profits, there are crafting machines such as the keg to turn your grapes into wine and the mill to turn them into flour. You'll be able to craft these from your crafting bench, and you can find that within your home. I think this is definitely going to be something I'm going to try and invest in where possible, because I'm going to need lots of money. There is also the possibility of cooking, which again, this can be found in your home, and this will be handy to make money. And also there is a stamina system, so if you want to replenish your stamina, then you can kind of consume some of these dishes as well. It is not just your crops that will need to be looked after come nightfall, but there is also going to be animals to take care of. Perhaps animals is a bit of a generous term. These are more like creatures, as some of these have a little bit of a mythical twist to them. So far we have seen chickens, stonies, and draculams. I hope I said all of them right. These will be housed in your barn, and this is where you'll be able to feed them, create compost. You can also kind of ring the bell, get them to come outside and interact with them. There is also the option to pet them. I don't know how kind of satisfying petting a stone will be, but either way, you can do that if you want to. There is also fishing, and fishing is not my favorite mechanic. I will say that for someone who isn't a huge fan of fishing, this one was a little bit interesting. It wasn't too kind of different to what I've played in the past, quite similar to Animal Crossing New Horizons, where you cast out your bobber into the shadows and then you reel it in. One thing I did find a little bit strange was that you couldn't always reel it in if it was a certain size or rarity, so hopefully that might be a bit clearer in the full version. Maybe there's some adjustments there, or maybe we just have to upgrade our tools pretty quickly. You also find that there was foraging and bug catching, which are pretty straightforward. However, one thing to note is that you will need to keep your eyes peeled for these souls. These bob around the map and you can collect them, add them to your collection book, and their stories will definitely give you a giggle because they kind of tell you how the person died, which a little bit morbid, but I enjoyed it. In addition to the main skills, there's also some side activities such as a card game called Nocturna. We don't have any details on this one exactly, or if we have, I've missed them, but it appears that we're going to be able to go head to head with the townsfolk to enjoy this card game as well. In the demo, we were also able to experience floristry and embroidery. I enjoyed both of these. I especially loved that the embroidery could be used as an artwork decoration when you place it down. However, this mechanic is very simple to like pixel art. I'm not great at pixel art, but if you are good at that, then hopefully you'll enjoy this more than I will. There are also some more magical side activities. The main one is going to be the spell casting, and there are going to be a variety of spells that you can unlock, and these will help make your life easier on the farm. They include things such as a watering spell, which I know in the absence of kind of sprinklers, we're all going to be wanting to use this one all the time. The mini game for this one does involve a little bit of a test of your memory, but you do pick it up quite quickly. Similarly, as you embrace your magical side, you may also wish to brew potions at your cauldron, and we've seen what this will look like in one of the developers' many sneak peeks. There is also going to be the ability to shape shift. This has been confirmed as being able to transform into a bat and fly around, but it also now appears that hell kittens are going to be an option, so there may even be more on the horizon. As I said earlier, there are going to be seasons in the game, and each season will bring with it new content. You will find new seasonal decorations to add to your farm or home. There is also going to be specific seasonal festivals, and it looks like we've had a sneak peek at a few of them, including the autumnal festival, where it appears there is going to be mini games. I love a good seasonal festival in my farming sims, so I'm excited to see what will be included here. You may have noticed that I have not mentioned combat here, and that is because unlike many RPGs, Moonlight Peaks does not feature combat. Instead, it obviously focuses on the story and the wholesome activities I have just mentioned. Talking of things I mentioned, I did briefly just mention crafting, but if you are a decorator, this is going to be hugely important for you, as there is a whole host of craftable decorations that you can use to spice up your farm and your home. They range from functional things like fences and lights to lots of decorations for both your interiors and exteriors. I am also a huge range of the shrubbery and floral pieces, so if you see flowers out and about on the map, make sure you pick them up and collect lots of them for your crafting. Another thing that I did really appreciate about the crafting and decorating in the game is the fact that when you craft something, instead of having to go and paint it later or customize it later, you can pick the variation of the item that you were crafting from the get-go. I just think this is a nicer way to do it, and having been playing Bocopia recently, that kind of process of having to paint something is very time consuming. So from the get-go, if you know you're going to want to decorate with purple, then you can. I also do appreciate the theming when it comes to the furniture. There is quite a few kind of different routes you can go down. For example, there's like the regal stuff. I think that there's going to be a whole bunch more, and I cannot wait to see all of them. If you are worried about fitting all of your items in your home, don't be, as it looks like there is going to be lots of opportunity to expand our homes and maybe even add new buildings. We have seen the greenhouse and the barn already, so hopefully there's going to be more options. So what about the social side of the game? There is a huge cast of characters, and some of them you can just befriend, some will run stores, but one thing is for sure, some of them also are a little bit peculiar. Overall though, the cast of the game is pretty inclusive, and that inclusivity carries over into the romance feature. There are 23 dateable NPCs, although I will say this, I have seen on a wiki that it said 24, so 23 or 24. Either way, this is a lot of dateable NPCs, so there is going to be a wide range of supernatural beings amongst all of that. This can include vampires, werewolves, mermaids, a pumpkin if you want to, and even death itself if you truly want to experience the dark side. No judging here. I am sure you will all be happy to know that the dating is also not gender locked, so you can date whoever you like, whatever you like. As there are a lot of characters to get to know, you may have a hard time picking which one you want to romance, which is fine, as you can actually romance multiple people at once, but just be careful because these characters are eagle-eyed and they will notice your behavior, and eventually you will still just have to pick one to marry. While it has been confirmed children will not be an option for our relationships, there are going to be plenty of other ways you can expand your relationships, including through marriage, special dates, and gift giving. Players can decide to turn your spouse into a vampire if you so desire. Talk about bringing them into the family. Like most games, building your friendship, increasing their romance will kind of unlock over time through interactions with the selected character, and there's also going to be gifts that they love and hate. It has also been confirmed that you'll be rewarded for building relationship with the townsfolk, as there is potential to unlock special blueprints and materials for crafting. Has the game just told me that I actually need to talk to my NPCs? Potentially. And finally, the most important thing you need to know about this whole entire game is that you get to have your own pet. This is a hell kitten, and this is a three-eyed kitten that will keep you companion during your time in the game. You can pet this one for as long as you like, and you can even talk to it. This is a magical game, remember. So that is absolutely everything you need to know going into Moonlight Peaks. Let me know in the comments what you think about this game. Is it going to be one for you? Are you really excited for its release? Are you excited as I am? Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.